Hello, BookTube, and I'm here with. Oh, I've had to clear my throat so I can speak half decently. Back with Second Childhood Book Quest. It's not one of a new. Well, it's a new book for me, but I'll be doing another one shortly of the original five that I had picked. But this is another Paddington Bear book. Yeah, I can get right up close there. Paddington Bear book by Michael Bond. This is more about Paddington and published 1959 originally. And this is part of a box set that was a birthday present from one of you. So that was really nice. There's 15 in here, as it says, collect all 15. Well, you buy this and you got all 15. um, it's a very fragile box or slipcase. And it carries on where the first book, A Bear Called Paddington, leaves off. Paddington was a bear in Peru, and his Aunt Lucy went into the retirement home for aged bears and sent him off to England. And with his uncle's hat, a tattered hat, and a whole bunch of marmalade. He loves marmalade. So, and he winds up at Paddington Station in London, and he gets picked up by the Brown family. There's Henry Brown, Mrs. Brown, which I can't remember her name at the moment, sadly, but Jonathan, the children, and Judy, I think it is. And they sort of take him home, and they realize in this one that he's there to stay. And he was living in the attic, but now they get him in this. It's one of the stories, one of the chapters that he has his own little room, a box room, small room, single bed, a dresser, and so forth. There's 7 short stories. Well, they're chapters, but they're basically short stories. And Paddington gets into all sorts of mischief. It's sort of like he says here, things are always happening to me. I'm that sort of bear on the back. And that's definitely it. And I like this because when he showed up in England, there was a little tag on him saying, please, can you look after this bear or something like that? Thank you. And they've put on the book here. Please look after this book. Thank you. The first little story is pretty good. He wants to have a family photo because he's taken the name Paddington. They've given him the name Paddington after the station, and he's taken their surname Brown. So he's Paddington Brown, young Mr. Brown. And the first story is called A Family Group, where he wants to have a family photo, and he buys this old camera, and he like a big camera with a glass plate on it, and he just causes havoc there, and it doesn't work well, but he takes it to get printed the photograph, and they want to hold on to the camera there because it's a rare camera, and they show Paddington's picture, but they get all the free pictures. So it's like, it doesn't matter what he does, he lands on his feet, as Mrs. Brown says. He's a bear that lands on his feet. And then a spot of decorating, and this is when they get him the box room. So he thinks he'll do the decorating and not Mr. Brown. So there's paint everywhere. He gets paint all over himself, and he decides to wallpaper the walls. So he wallpapers everything, and then he can't find the door or the fireplace. He's wallpapered over the fireplace and door. And then Paddington turns detective. Mr. Brown's prize marrow disappears from the garden, and Paddington buys a detective disguise and with a mustache and beard, and he's gonna find out who did this, and he gets detained by the police because he's in a suspicious location, and then once the police find out everything that's happened, they realize that he's actually a good, upstanding bear, and there should be more in society like that. And then there's Paddington and the Bonfire. It's Guy Fawkes Night, November 5th. And it's just he's no stranger to fireworks, but the Guy Fawkes thing, he's not sure. So, but he enjoys himself. There's lots and lots of fireworks, and then he wakes up the next day, and there's snow, and he's never seen snow, and it's his first encounter with snow, and with snow fights, and this is where Mr. What's his name? Jury? No, Curry. Curry next door, an obstinate curmudgeon that's always complaining about everybody. But yeah, and but Paddington stays out in the snow too long, and he gets sick, so he gets ill, and everybody's rallying around trying to help. They call the doctor. This is the funny thing: they don't call the vet, but they call the doctor for him. The doctor isn't showing in here, but and then the whole, and once it gets around, the whole neighborhood, rally around and come to see daily to see how he's doing. And then it sort of ends with, he's saying, "Oh, I think I'm having a relapse. I better have 2 marmalade sandwiches." So they realize that he's on the road to recovery. And then the 2 last ones are Christmas orientated, where Mrs. Brown takes him again to Christmas shopping at a place that's basically standing in for Fortnum and Masons in London. And he gets into trouble there, but everybody treats him as a gentleman, a gentleman bear. And then the Christmas, there's the Christmas one where he gets everybody the perfect present, and he gets a whole bunch of presents himself. It's a lovely. I can't stress how much I love these. This is the second one I read, and I can't wait. I don't want to binge on these, so I'm gonna read them slowly and savor them. And plus, I think I would get a little too tired if I read them back to back. They are children's, but they don't talk down to a child. Like Michael Bond, it does not talk down in these, and it's a universe, it's a world that it would be great to live in because everybody rallies around. Yeah, you've got Mr. Curry, who's a curmudgeon, but he's not too bad. Then you got Mr. Gruber, another character in here that's Paddington's friend. He goes and reads with him and asks him stories. I think he's got a shop in the market, so he goes and has 11sies with him. I think he cocoa or hot chocolate, every day, and it's just a lovely thing. And then there's Mrs. Bird, the housekeeper for the family. Like these aren't poor people. Let's put it that way, though. It is a upper middle class family living in London in a big house with a big garden, and they have a full-time housekeeper. So it's very, very well, like I say, it's upper middle class, I would say. And it's just a beautiful world. There's some things, there's some books that are like this that I love to get into. It's like the P.G. Wodehouse the stuff. It's a world that you wish a world like that actually existed, without all the cares and everything, and the downside of things, and that people are nice and everything like that, and care for each other, loving family, and so forth. And that's what Paddington is. It's a fantasy world in many ways. But yeah, everybody, it's like nobody takes, a surprise that, Paddington's around. He's a rare type of bear, and he's got two birthdays as well. He's got a birthday in the summer, and on Christmas Day is his second birthday. And for the Christmas, he gets a birthday cake that has a layer of marmalade, which really thrills Paddington. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and now I really want a little Paddington doll. Edgar needs a companion, so I want a Paddington doll, a little stuffed bear, and I've got one in my wish list. If anybody wishes to gift Edgar a Paddington, a little stuffed sitting one. It's a really nice one. So if anybody would like that, then that's great. And the other thing is that I will say this again when I get to, what's it called, the little ghost. That I'll need more um, titles. Like I've been given a few titles, but I do now have a wish list that you can add anything in. So keep in mind for the second childhood book quest, I've changed it a little bit. It's now anything that's sort of between 5 and say 9 years old, 10 years old, and it doesn't have to be of when I was that age. um, I'd say 5 and 12. And so it can be new stuff as well. So if there's anything you'd like me to read, but keep in mind, keep the shortish ones, preferably under 200 pages. But little bigger than that, it's fine as well, because if it's that age of writing, then it shouldn't be that time consuming. If there is something you want me to read and talk about it, then there is the Shawn's You Choose wish list, which is a link down below in the description. And you can add anything on there, and it'll be sent to me the same way as from the other ones. But rather than me putting in the title, then you can, or anything. It doesn't have to be a book. It can be anything that's on Amazon that's available, and you just I think you got to join the wish list in a sense, and then you just add anything and go through the whole process as normal. But yeah, so there's that option for that. And as I say, if you want to get Edgar the Paddington bear, that's in my normal wish list. Thank you very much, BookTube. I will see you next time.